Alright, folks, welcome back to the Boys Green YouTube channel. It's time for the Boys Green podcast, episode 2. And as it reads, the bold need to back Brendan as Flag Day approaches. I'm joined by Nathan and Alistair. How you doing, Alistair?
Good, thanks.
Nathan?
I am good, Joe.
Aye, good. We may as well start. Obviously, we're recording on Saturday, so there's a big something's happened today. Obviously, Rangers have dropped points in the first game of the season as well. But Nathan, would you think how you looking on the season? Obviously, because we had a really good pre-season, but obviously there's a lot going on behind the scenes that maybe people aren't happy about. But overall, how you feeling about the morning? Are you looking forward to it? Obviously,
Well, I mean, obviously, I was excited to get back, but I mean, if you look at Rodgers' one of the interviews he done with Sky yesterday, he was like, "Oh, we're just trying to keep the same squad basically and add to it." And we've not even achieved keeping the same squad yet because we've no signed either. So it's that even at that, that's all the BS. So we need to get our finger at it, man. It's embarrassing.
Alistair, how you feeling about it?
As regard the season, mate, quite calm, but ask me about 4 to 5 in the morning when we've no scored yet the first 15 minutes, then it'll hit us.
Aye. Um. Obviously, you have both mentions about the board and like how it's no probably the summer's been a bit. There's not really been much happening. Nathan, as you said, Rodgers came out again and basically had another dig at the board yesterday. Like I've always thought about that with Rodgers. He's good saying a lot and no many words. He can get straight to the point. I don't think Rodgers is happy. I think we're in danger of repeating what we repeated it to like when he was first here, where he gets annoyed because the lack of signings. We obviously signed Bernardo in the week, but it was kind of, Alistair, I kind of thought it was diluted because of how long it took.
Yeah, I would completely concur with that, mate. And also, I'm not going to change my mind. I think Bernardo's a brilliant signing, but But if that should have been the first one in the door, because on paper that was the easiest one to do, because we had a buy clause.
Aye.
You know what I
Um,
mean?
I just, Nathan, obviously when we signed Bernardo, you the same because I just kind of, I was happy we signed him. You probably could tell in the video I
I
done when they signed him. There was nothing to say because he was here last season. It was a signing that probably should have been done weeks ago. I think there's been a big thing about the fee being put down. I think that's what the consensus of why it took so long because it was
mean,
talking a fee of upwards £6 million apparently that we've chopped down. Do I believe that? Not necessarily, but we've got them in the door, and that's the main thing.
I don't like to compare Celtic and Rangers' transfers too much, right? But you look at Diamande, who Rangers had on loan last season. They brought him in pretty quick in the window. He got a pre-season. He's fit. Rodgers came out yesterday and said Bernardo won't be featuring the game tomorrow because he's no match fit. If that signing was done a couple of weeks ago, a few weeks ago, even as it should have been, we wouldn't have this problem. So it's just a bit stupid on our part.
I think with I don't want to talk about him too much, but I think with Diamande, I think Diamande was they had to buy him at that fee, so it was pretty like I don't think the
It was
buyout
an
clause,
obligation.
an obligation. I don't think the buyout clause that we had was with Bernardo, oh, you need to buy him for 3.5 or 6 million. I don't know, but it just seemed to take an absolute age. The problem I've got with the window at the moment is we don't seem to be linked to anybody else. It seemed to be for about a month, 2 months, Ida and Bernardo. We've not really been linked concretely with somebody else. I know we're linked with Hugo Bueno for Wolves. That's not going to happen now. But I was still like, would you think in this kind of last month, would you think we need?
Left back, centre half, winger, centre forward.
Two centre forwards.
I think you'll get one. I
I think we
don't
get
think
one,
you'll
and I
get.
don't think we get two. And I'm not saying we don't need to. if I'm being honest now, I don't think we'll get to. I hope the one that we're going to get is Ida, but I think we're getting to the. I don't know where to go with Ida now, Nathan, because sometimes it's on, other times he's out of squad. Everybody's all, oh, it's back on, and people. I just think the papers are now guessing what's
Mate,
going on with it. I don't think genuinely anybody has a clue.
I don't need this happening. Honestly, if either was happening, he'd been in the door by now. And I seen that you sent me something the other day. I can't even remember who it was that posted it. That you said that it's likely that either starts the game tomorrow. Well, ever since then, radio silent. I've had nothing on either for about 5 days. So I've just given up hope on it. To be honest, I genuinely at this point just want signings and don't care. Like we're saying, oh, Rodgers is giving the excuse, oh, it's hard to get deals done. Well, big clubs have got people that are employed to do that, not text messages saying, "Can you come?"
It, Nathan mentions just something, Alistair, about radio silence. That's been the problem for me. It's been the whole window has just been silent.
We should we shouldn't be surprised, lads, because Celtic do this all the time. What they'll do is see about 10 days before the deadline. That's when they'll finally move the proverbial. That's when it all happen. I've seen it happen so often. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm slightly more optimistic regards Ida than Nathan is. I think it'll happen just basically because Norwich won't want an unhappy player, and it's clear to me that Ida wants to come. And 99 times out of 100, players get their own way nowadays. So I think it will happen.
There's
I'm
other
not
clubs
saying it will
involved.
happen next week or even the following week, but what I'm saying, I think it will happen.
Aye. Um, I, th- I think if either's going to move anywhere this summer, it is going to be Celtic. I don't. I know there's been links with Italian clubs now, but I don't know. I think there's anything concrete. I think Ida's still in the and Ida's doing more for this move than our our team who are doing meant to be doing all the backroom work. Michael Nicholson, Lawwell players. Adam Ida's done more than what they've done for a transfer. That just to me shows where we are as a club, and when it comes to financial dealings, I think we this can't carry on a leaving stuff to the last minute. I'm all for quality over quantity, but there comes a point where it's the same story. Like, oh, offers are too high, and players, we're trying to lowball teams and things like that. I'm not saying you need to go and pay whatever the first fee that's been branded about, but they're lowballing for me. Alistair's killing us at times.
Yeah, but they always do.
Aye.
So I don't get why people are shocked.
No, I know.
Leopards don't change their spots, and this board is 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 crippling this club to go forward. Because if this was if this was the other side of the city, we'd be laughing our heads off.
Aye. Aye. I think at times now, I think that, and this is what I don't know. I'm most surprised, as you said. I've been, I'm one of always probably biggest critics, but it's at the point now where I don't get why you would bring somebody like Brendan Rodgers back, who is clearly knows what he's doing. He's clearly got a backbone about him. He he believes in what he can do. We've got the manager. You give the manager the tools. Now the tools are clearly not there. Rodgers has sent umpteen messages out to the board since he's come back. He sent a message out in January where he basically said we need quality. And then he sent a message he sent two messages, I'm pretty sure, out in the media and basically says you just need to get that together. So I don't get why the two of them just can't go in tandem. You've got the manager who knows what he's doing. You get him the recruitment, you get him the players that he wants.
Mm.
Because
What are you
at the
doing
point,
here?
but at the point now where it's going to get to the point where we're going to stagnate as a club because, like, honestly, I don't really know where we go after Brendan Rodgers because I'm not saying Brendan Rodgers is going to leave or anything, but I don't know where we go as a club after Brendan Rodgers because this bold, I don't have any faith in them when it comes to attracting players, when it comes to attracting managers, when it comes to attracting staff. It's too much, or we'll just get to somebody who used to work in the City Group. We're not Man City's feeder club either. So, like, and this is the thing. We need like, what? It's not even just players; it's staff. Like, I don't trust them to do anything. Honestly,
Aye.
I wouldn't trust them to cross the road properly.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, because they don't do anything right. The only thing that Peter Lawwell was done right in his time here has made sure we've got decent dollar for players and made sure his own pocket. They need to back Brendan Rodgers, as the title says. There's no point having a manager of Brendan Rodgers' quality here if you're not going to back the man.
Agreed. Agreed.
Completely agree.
And I don't want to come across as I'm bedwetting and all this stuff, but it becomes a point we need to genuinely go at. What is going on here?
Let me put a question to you though, right? Are Celtic being, a bit lenient with the money because of the Champions League qualification not being there next season, so we don't have the guaranteed money? So we're wanting to save it, or because in my opinion we should be wanting to spend it where we've got it. But the way this club's run, it's all about keeping money, and maybe that's one of the reasons why we aren't going out and signing players.
Can
I was,
I answer that, Josh?
aye,
I honestly think that's the reason we should be spending money to try and get the coefficient up well enough to get the 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 automatic Champions League qualification back, not for next season but for the following seasons.
Aye.
aye.
It's
And
Celtic's mandatory.
the thing is, as well, right? Well, right, I would understand, right, if we're talking about, say we've got this, whatever it is, 38, 35 million to 40 million bounty we got for the Champions League. Now, we're not going to have that next season, right? But and I honestly think if you can flip back the coin and go at that, I think us having not having qualified is a good thing, right? It is. But see, for the board, it just gives them that we don't need to bother signing anybody because till the last few weeks, as Alistair was saying, because we'll get through the first few league games, and then once it gets into September, that's when your Champions League games come, and that's when that's why we'll leave it to the last 2 weeks to sign players. That's what my genuine thing is. I think because we've not got the qualifiers, even when we did have the qualifiers, we didn't. There wasn't. We were always short. You go back to Cluj. I always go back a few years ago. We were always short. We're playing Cal McGregor at left back when we brought Ball and Golly in and Julian, and they were sitting on the bench. We're
Aye.
always short when it comes to the big games at the qualifiers. Now, obviously, we've not had them the last 3 seasons, but I fear that's what's going to happen again. They won't spend the money next season. They will not
Exactly.
spend the money. They are, and I'm not saying like, and we're not talking about we've only got a wee bit of money. We've got a decent amount. I'm not asking Celtic to go and spend 50, 60 million pounds. But keep Brendan a budget of maybe 20 million and go at there you go, Brendan.
Rely on recruitment as well. It's not about the fee that you pay for the players, it's about the quality that you get. And you look at teams that don't spend similar to Celtic, but they get good players because their recruitment actually top tier. Our recruitment is just going off of past relationships. It looks like.
Yeah.
Aye. And
Yeah.
I also and I said this, obviously the one player who looks like he's going to be a great player is Casper Schmeichel. What I've seen him with the pre-season and whatever else. He looks like he's going to be a top class addition to the squad.
He'll
But
help us in Europe, but he needs help.
I said this at the time. I said that's not a club signing, and I was proven right because Casper Schmeichel was asked in his press conference, and he was asked, and he was like, "I received a text off Brendan." So that
Mm.
just shows that this was not a club signing. Now I'm all for giving the club credit, but when there's clearly no credit to give, I'm not going to sit here and act like, oh, the club had a massive say in it. It didn't. It didn't. Just like they never had a massive say in Kyogo. Just like they never had a massive say in Maida. Just like they never had a massive say in Hatati. That was all Ange. And when Ange was the manager, right, we thought maybe the recruitment's moved on. It hasn't.
Mm.
Yeah,
Because Ange was, for me, was just, Nathan was just covering the cracks.
Exactly. I mean, I want to go back to something Roger said as well when he was the Sky reporter asked him about the Celtic's recruitment plan, and he was talking about loaning players and then developing them, then buying them, and then Roger said like they did with Jota and players like that. Like, but he also said that's not the only way Celtic should do business. We can't be relying on loan players. Celtic are a big enough team to buy their own players as well. Granted, and teams in the Scottish League and that will need loan players. That's just the way it is. But we need to actually be going out and buying our players.
Aye. Like, because Alistair, like, I've liked how ruthless Rodgers has been when it's came to getting players out of the door. Like, I
yeah,
have genuine, and that's why I think he's a good manager. He doesn't take any rubbish. Rocco
yeah.
Vata was wanting £18,000 a week. I've never been a Rocco Vata fan. Anybody would tell you that. I genuinely haven't. I don't think he's made up to
Living
it.
off the
I think he's just living off his dad's legacy. But I was glad that Rodgers went like, no, we're offering you. You take that or you go. And he went. Danny
Yeah,
Kelly clearly isn't happy with the wage he's given. Off you go. Now, I understand that we're all desperate to for good youth players to come through because they're Celtic supporters and all this stuff. But if they're wanting massive fees and all that, and Rodgers is telling them no, he's lending the law, and that's what should be happening.
yeah.
Yeah.
We look at the boy Turley signed a new contract, and you can guarantee he'll be in around the first team. I'm not saying
Aye,
that's a good thing, but at least he's committed, and that's what I want. You want to be here, I'll play you. You don't, excuse me,
exactly.
but fuck off.
Fair enough. Aye, pretty much. And that's why and I think it annoys everybody. Why Rodgers is having to pull at teeth to get signings in because he
But
knows what he's doing.
I will say this, boys. If you, I know you mentioned this the Sky interview, Nathan, but if you actually watch the press conference in its entirety, um, it actually looks pretty chilled. So either he knows what's coming in and he's happy to wait for the right players, whether me, you, Josh, like it or not. I wouldn't care less. See if we end up with a Jota, GG, and a Cameron Carter Vickers last day, I'll be buzzing.
Aye,
As long as it's that type of window, we don't need another window like a Tulio, a Quan. We don't need that, but we do need numbers in because the squad, you'll see in the Morris bench, the Morris bench will be poor. Let's be
aye.
Mm.
honest.
And Nathan, I said to you a few days ago, uh, Rogers said a lot. There's still quality here, but we just need to add quality, and he's correct. He's 100% correct because if you go through that squad, right, there is still quality here. There's some duds, but there's duds in every squad.
You're gonna get that in every team. Aye.
But if you look at our two goalkeepers, Schmeichel and Sinisawa, I don't even bother about me. I genuinely couldn't care less. Um, like one who is a goalkeeper, a number one, the other one hopefully a future number one. There seems to be somewhat of a plan.
Looks a decent player. That's
Ralston and Johnston, fair enough. Ralston knows what his role is.
You've also got that young boy that I thought played with in pre-season as well. Is the third one in case.
Toby Donovan.
I was impressed by Donovan.
And then with the centre halves, you've got Carter Vickers and you've got Scales. Now, Scales is not good enough to start. I don't care what anybody says now. He's good enough. I wouldn't mind him at Celtic as a backup.
Maybe he's good enough to start in the Scottish League, but if you want to do something in Europe.
But what we should be doing is getting somebody proper next to Carter Vickers.
Exactly.
And then left back, Alistair, we've only got Taylor, who, for me, Taylor is... Exactly. If Taylor wants to stay and fight for his place, alongside another left back, then
I think we've all got a fair idea. Sorry, Josh. I think we've all got a fair idea who the left back's going to be now.
I will go into that later on, but and then you get into midfield, right? If we keep the midfield we've got there now, we don't need. There doesn't need to be many additions. Now, O'Reilly might leave, Hatate might leave. I don't know, but if we keep this current midfield, that's fine for me. Bernardo, good addition.
I'm buzzing with the midfield.
Awat is a solid for me backup. I think when he's come in, he's looked alright. He's looked shaky sometimes, but that's just when you're not playing constantly, you're going to look shaky in bits.
That's what backup's going to be, though, isn't it?
And then the wingers, we only need my problem. If we can get one winger in, you've got Forrest who can still do it. And I know that goes towards our recruitment as well. We're still saying James Forrest could do a turn in 2024, but he came in last season. He looked alright. He looks fit in pre-season, so he still could be a decent player to come off the bench. Maida's Maida. Kuhn looks alright in pre-season, and I still think there's more to come for Palmer. So you're realistically looking at one winger, and then if we get the two strikers in, it's not. We're not talking about a mass rebuild here, Alistair. We're talking about a few players, a few bits of quality.
I'm with you, mate. Well, before that mentioned, I wasn't even including the second striker because I think Maeda will be the third striker. I do.
I third striker's barely going to play it.
And that's the problem. What standard of player are you going to attract? If you say you've got Kyogo, you've got Ida, who realistically you going to attract to come in?
Well, when Rodgers was here the first time, we had Weah, Edward, and Dembele, didn't we?
Weah was rotten.
Still
Weah was more than a winger.
But the thing is, and I agree kind of what Alice was going to say, because I just think, like, if you're going to get a first striker, it's going to be a Patrick Klamala, a Vacuum Bio, somebody like that. Like, either was the odd occasion where we had Dembele, Edward, and Griffiths. You're not going to get that. Edward was brought in. Now, maybe that's what a third striker should be doing. Edward was brought in to basically be the next Dembele, pretty much. And that's how it happened. And especially how long we've took, I don't think you're going to get a player who'll come in and be happy to just play the odd game here and then.
I mean, Nathan, us as a podcast would love Kyogo, Ida, and Miovski, but the two up front, teams don't play that way now. They don't. Fitness moved on, so you're not going to get 3 top-class strikers.
Saying top-class strikers, Kyogo's one shoulder probably for being out for a bit of time, and then, we're relying on then Ida as our sole striker, and then anything can happen, because Kyogo's shoulder, Kyogo is probably going to get a shoulder injury this season. It just happens.
I think if your top two strikers are out, though, like, it's just there's no much you can do about that.
Can't it? It's centre half last year.
I know.
So it's centre half last year. You couldn't legislate Lagerbielke been injured, Vickers been injured, and the Rocky been injured. That's how we ended up with a Phillips Telly playing at the back. So you can't legislate for. I mean, in all intents and purposes, that's what saved Liam Scales' career at
He took
Celtic.
the chance when he got.
He was going to Aberdeen. It's common knowledge.
But I think the whole thing around Liam Scales for me is you can see the flaws in his game. The guy cannot pass a ball forward. Every time he's on the ball, and you'll probably see it tomorrow.
Panic
Like
stations.
it's panic stations. That's what I'm saying. I think we genuinely need somebody who's decent with the ball at his feet to complement Vickers and can actually defend.
Long as it's
I
no
would keep
Scott
Liam Scales.
McKenna.
Well, he's away to Las Palmas, I think, so I don't think we're going to get him.
Thank God for that.
But I think overall, I just think I would love to be proved wrong. I do think there will still be players to come in. Who I don't know. There's going to need to be because if there isn't, or there only is maybe one or two brought in, I genuinely think there'll be riots. But
I think people are at the edge,
I
to be
think
honest.
it'll be interesting to see. I think people will get behind the team that because it's a different entity. You get behind the team. You can dislike the board and what they operate, but you can get behind the team because at the end of the day, the team don't. It's
But you
behind the
don't
scenes.
support a board.
No, you don't. I don't support a PLC. Nobody does.
No.
But we may as well go away from the board because you could sit here and talk all day about it.
The
But
only thing I would say before we move on is this. If you want a third striker, Nathan, the only one that's possible is the Canadian boy that we were linked with. I could see that.
I was thinking Conway.
you want to go and play. You want to go and play first.
Arguably good enough to play first team as well. He's a decent player.
So he's getting on Arsenal caps now. So you want to go and try and play somewhere first
There's no
team?
reason why a third striker couldn't come in and get their way into a team either.
I know I don't doubt that, but I don't think you're going to have your go-to striker at the moment. It's Kyogo. So and then either's going to be the main. So
Either's going to come in though. We're talking like either's a guarantee. If either was a guarantee being months ago.
Planned. Like who? I just think the fear is the third striker could.
We're going to spend reasonably big money on a striker. That's a certainty. I'll say that. That is an absolute certainty.
Is it really though? Because we were all saying Ida's a certainty. We've still not got him. It's the first game of the season tomorrow.
But we are going either or not. We are going to spend big money on a striker because we have only got one. You can't go into a season with one striker.
That's what we're doing.
I know but you don't get what understand what I'm saying. You can't.
I get we'll get one, but you should start the season with two. We shouldn't start a season.
No, I agree.
Even if it's the first game or not, with one recognised striker. Because if Kyogo goes down injured tomorrow, Kyogo gets a big tackle, hurting the box, like going up with the big Kilmarnock centre half, and he goes off injured. We've got to rely winning the game with a striker in the starting 11, not even a striker on the bench. You don't know what can happen. Kyogo could wake up tomorrow and snip in a wire for all we know.
Right, come on.
I think you're going
a bit.
You're going to extremes now, Nathan. If we're the point.
Anything can happen. To go even to go into one game with one striker, it's ridiculous.
No, I understand you, but you're now going to extremes. You're now talking about Kyogo tripping in a fucking wire. Come on, man.
Me and Josh could all of a sudden wake up, walk out with wheelchairs and play out front for Celtic. It's not going to happen.
But I think where I would say just to end off the board thing. Honestly, what I would do, I think you just need to keep some of the noise after the window and just see what happens over the next few weeks. See what happens with quality and what happens is brought in because there's no point moaning and groaning about it now because we know what we need. So we may as well just wait after the window and then what's brought in, we can moan about what was not brought in. Or we can sit here and say, fair enough, that we're proven wrong. Hopefully it's the latter,
Mm.
but that's how I would end the bold segment off. I want to go into obviously the Morris game because we've kind of spoke about the board till it's went tired, to be honest. Alistair, what you think about the game? And more obviously it's flag day and you've got all the things around it and stuff like that.
Well, I never take flag day for granted. I could say that for a kick-off. And the good thing is, place will be buzzing with,
Aye,
with the way results have went today.
aye,
And 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 can I just say as well, I read on Twitter that some half-wits want to boo as the team come out. Know the right time, know the right place, in my opinion, because I just think we need to get behind the team and see what happens.
it's not the team's
I don't
fault. It's
think you
the man
start a
behind the
season.
scenes.
You
Yeah.
start a season with a
Aye,
mindset of boo.
aye, Nathan. As Alistair says, with the results to the Rangers drawing today, uh, I think it's important that we just get a result tomorrow and start the season off well. I don't know. I'd like to see maybe a good convincing performance just to maybe calm everybody down a bit. Um,
Mm.
because I think, like as we've seen with this podcast, everybody's getting blood's boiling a bit at the moment. But I think the result of the day with the Rangers has probably helped a bit. But I just want to maybe see as a performance, like maybe no, you're no hanging on with 10 minutes to go sort of performance we've seen last season. I think we need to continue what we've been doing towards the end of last season. We really hit a stride. That Kilmarnock game where we won the league hit a stride. We've carried, and that's just the positive. We've carried that into pre-season. We've beat
Mm.
DC United convincingly. We beat Man City, beat Chelsea convincingly.
Aye.
So we just need to continue. We need to carry that in. We just need to keep riding this wave as much, and then we'll deal with the whole transfer stuff when it comes to that.
I mean, what I would say was, I mean, there's a clear difference. We were playing Kilmarnock and they were playing Hearts. Hearts are a good team, not saying Kilmarnock, aren't they? But I wasn't getting too excited watching the Rangers game today because, I mean, in my opinion, Hearts looked really good and I think we'll struggle against Hearts. We always do. So, yeah, happy they dropped points, but, it's first game of the season, new players, match fitness against a really good opposition. So, it was an even game. There's nothing to get excited about in my opinion. But the more Celtic just need to do their job, focusing on us. It's not about them. The 90 minutes we need to just control it and on to the next one after that.
Thanks very much, Jim Trainer.
It was.
I'll start. Would you obviously would you like to see like us carry on from the pre-season and stuff?
Copy and paste for the Man City and Chelsea games, you'll have no bother at all.
Aye. We may
Really
as well.
depends how we start. And
Aye.
the advantage we've got tomorrow, guys, and I don't think this should be over-egged. Kilmarnock could just have a flight for Belgium.
Aye. No,
They're
that's
bound to be leggy at some stage of the game, so it really depends. Start quick, kill the game early doors, and enjoy the rest of Flag Day. That's the plan.
pretty much. Aye.
Right.
We may as well go into team lineups and stuff like that. I think it'll be pretty much similar.
It's
I'm going to
Quinn
probably.
fit. It's Quinn fit.
Is good. Is he fit? I don't think actually.
Yeah, I
Because I
think
know he had a knee injury. That's why he never played against Chelsea. But
Rodgers said he would be so. And
I
I'll
don't.
tell
I
Um,
you
don't think
something
he'll
else, a
start.
wee bonus.
What
When
about Maida?
Robbie's back training,
What about Maida?
big a real player now.
Maida's fit. I know
Is
that.
it?
That's good. Cover
Um, because I
tail.
don't think we never really heard anything about his injuries. So Like, so I don't think we would have heard if it was a severe injury with Maida. Um,
Mm.
but I've got probably my lineup probably Schmeichel and goal, back for a Ralston, Vickers, Scales, Taylor, McGregor, Hatai, O'Reilly. Wingers, I think Forrest might start. Um, Forrest, Maida, if he's fit, and Kyogo, because as we've discussed, we've only got the one option up front. Um, but I'll still what would your team be for? Tomorrow?
I'm just two changes, Josh. I, I'm playing Alistair Johnson and I'm playing um Nicholas Kuhn. Because if if you bring Kuhn on, if you're going to play Kuhn, you start him because then
Aye,
you've got Forrest in reserve. You don't bring Kuhn on. If he breaks Kuhn, you're wasted a sub. So you start Kuhn, in my opinion. Start with your best team, call the game, and then can make the
aye.
subs as per.
Nathan, what about you?
I think Ralston will start. I think we'll probably start Kuhn as well. And
Aye,
same as Alistair, just Barron. I think Alistair Johnson just came back for his break, so I don't think he's fully fit yet.
best right back in the Copa America, by the way, just saying.
I
Um,
see. I seen that.
Messi's
Seen
right
it
back.
within the team of the tournament. Well done, Alistair.
but I think with me and Nathan, I'm pretty similar. I think Ralston will play because I just don't think Johnson. Obviously, he's got an extended break for obviously playing in the Copa America, but I
I
think
think we'll need Johnson next week.
maybe Johnson next week. But I think because he's been on that break, he's maybe not been obviously not his match sharp because he didn't play a game obviously in the US, so he's maybe not had that like match sharpness or whatever. Obviously, he's been probably training, but I
Alistair
don't know
Johnson
exactly
did,
when he come
no?
back. No, I think Ralston played all 3 games.
No, sorry. I think the Copa America was in the USA. That I got
Ah,
confused.
right, no, I was talking about our friendlies. No, right. Johnson did play the Copa America, but
I
I, I,
don't know.
I just think that we might see him maybe next week or the following week. But I
Can we
think
get a
it'll
wee
be
15
Ralston.
minutes, Ramona?
Maybe we might when maybe if we're winning,
Well,
we
put
might
it
bring him.
this way. I don't think we're going to complain whoever the right back is.
No, because they should be able to do a job against Kilmarnock at
Come
home.
on.
Not
Yeah.
been because they've been Kilmarnock were good last season and stuff, but um, I fully expect.
Although I would say this, Kilmarnock are kind of down to the bare bones in terms of depth. So that's what I meant earlier when I said I think they might get leggy.
Aye, no, they could. Um,
Hopefully. Hopefully.
um, but I will tend off. I may as well just going about score predictions. I'll go first. I think we'll win 3-0. I think we'll pretty comfortable. Hopefully, I'll start with you.
I think it'll be 4-0 again.
4-0. Nathan.
I think it'll be 4-1. The Celtic defenders always seem to struggle with Vassell for some reason. Vassell causes us nightmares, and Armstrong as well, to be fair. So I think we'll score.
Aye, no, I think 3-0. I think we'll pretty comfortable. And
I think it'll be an
hopefully,
easy win.
hopefully, start off with 3 points, unlike certain teams. Um, but that's probably going a bit for this episode of the podcast. We'll be back tomorrow, probably me and Nathan outside Celtic Park for post match reaction. We'll probably hopefully talking about a Celtic win on Flag Day. Until then, speak to you later. Hail, hail.